Hello guys, today we're going to interview Caroline Evans of Inkmaster Season 5. There you go. Accept. Hello.
Hi, how are you?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing okay. I'm attached to with my wire for my earbuds, so I'm a little
Oh,
sideways.
oh, that's fine. That's fine. Actually, this is my first time live, so I was like, oh, should I do this or not? I'm not really sure. But then, I was thinking, I was really, I'm a fan of this show.
Yeah.
So I was like, I really want to interview like, the contestants from the show, hmm to
Yeah.
really like, know the details and stuff. So I was like chatting some of the contestants from the show. So I was like, yes, finally someone answered me, answered my call. Caroline, yes. Can you
Yeah,
hear
how
me
are
now?
you? I
Can you hear me
love
now?
I love it, talking with the fans of the show. You know,
Hello? Caroline. Wait, I think Dave Navarro is messing with our Wi-Fi. Dave, stop messing with our Wi-Fi. Is it Dave or Oliver?
okay. Oh,
There you
sorry
go.
about that.
Oh,
It
hey,
kicked me
yeah,
out
that's
for a
fine.
second.
That's fine.
I'm new to this too, like, because
Right?
I'm busy tattooing, so all this other technology that happens around it, it's just um it gets overwhelming. Um but
Yes.
it's fun to learn it, so
I
and
know. Yes.
yeah, and it gives us other ways of connecting, so I think it's great. Um so so what are some of the burning questions that you have for the show about the show?
Ooh, okay, let's start. I'm super interested with like, the questions. Okay. I have like a few questions here. The first one is, why did you audition for Ink Master?
Why did I do it?
Mm-hmm.
Like, why did I audition? The audition basically, for me, I live in New Jersey, right across the river from New York, and they would always have the castings happening in New York. And so for me, it was a chance to dress up, go into the city, go see my tattoo artist friends outside of a shop or convention environment and just like get to say hi to everybody. And, if the show stuff happened, it happened. If it didn't, it didn't, So for me, it wasn't, a really, uh, like the main goal wasn't to get on the show.
Oh,
You know what I mean? It was just,
mm-hmm.
you know what I mean? So, but it happened, everything always happens for a reason.
Wow.
So
Well, this season is Inkmaster Rivals, right? So did you
yes.
audition with Julia Carson?
No, it's yes, Julia Carlson, and no, like you did stuff independently. So,
Really?
yeah, like it started off that I did a interview for Tattoo Titans,
Mm-hmm.
and that went nowhere. And like I really, because I agreed to the interview without doing my research, without knowing what it was all about. And
Mm-hmm.
so the night before my interview, I did research it. I went on YouTube and I looked it all up, and I was like, oh, that's to me it was weird because I know Bob Tyrell, and he wouldn't even critique your portfolio at a tattoo convention, but now he's a judge on TV,
Mm-hmm.
and Ami James, like people didn't really like Ami, so it was just like I don't know if I want to do that, and so I really like.
Doubtful.
Yeah, so I like deadpanned the interview. Like I made myself to be the most uninteresting individual ever. So that didn't go
Oh,
so that didn't go
interesting.
anywhere.
So wait,
Yeah.
is Julia your friend coming in, or
Uh,
no, you don't know her
co,
at all?
I knew her through work. We worked at the same
Oh,
shop.
okay. I see.
So basically, she also did an interview for Tattoo Titans, and they really liked her. And so they were like, you don't fit the format. Like you don't fit here. We think you're a better fit for Inkmaster. So we're going to pass on your interview to them. So then that's how that then started to happen. So I got, so she did her interview with them then at the shop. And the supposedly, like, this is hearsay to me, like it was that the shop owner was listening in. And so when they were telling Julia that the format for the season was Rivals, that she needed to go on the show as a set, as a pair, and that if she had somebody that she didn't get along with. And
go ahead.
Yeah, so the shop owner knew that I was going always to the casting calls and stuff like that. So she supposedly stuck her face in and gave my name. So then I got a phone call.
Interesting. But you guys were not really rivals, right? In the show?
I worked, like I worked with her for 2 years, and I did not hang out with her outside of the outside of the shop. So so we were just there the days that we were both working. So I think I worked with her, I want to say 3 or 4 days a week. So because then she was at the shop other days that I wasn't. And so then that was it, like that was sort of our, going into it, that's what that, or at least to me, that's what that was, like I had other, things going on outside of work, that needed, my attention and whatnot. So I basically would just go to work, and I'd go home, and then I'd go and do, the tattoo conventions, and just try to keep myself as immersed in the tattoo world as much as I could, given my circumstances, outside of tattooing.
Ooh, so there were, what do you call this? There's a mini rivalry, right? Between you guys.
Well, to me, like, like when you're in a shop and stuff like that, like you need to have like,
exactly,
competition and rivalry and stuff like that, because like, that's how, like, when I first got involved in tattooing, like you would always sit there and try to like one up your coworkers, but it was in healthy competition to get everybody to bring their best game to the table.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And by the way, I have my next question. So walking in the show, how was it seeing the production, the crew, the judges for the first time?
Oh yeah, like meeting everybody for the first time. Like it's not formal whatsoever. Yeah, like when you're going through the process, they're selling it to you almost like as if you're going to sleepaway camp with a bunch of tattoo artists, which sounds amazing. And then you get there and you're like, because making TV is nothing like going to a tattoo convention, because that's what I was sort of comparing it to. I'm like, oh, I work tattoo conventions. I bust my ass for like so many hours, and then hardly get any sleep and get up and do it all over again. Like this is going to be a breeze, and and then you get there and you're like, okay, maybe not.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah. So, but the, like everybody's there, like, they have a mission. They're making TV, they're making a show, they're making entertainment. So they have a goal in mind and they're running for it, So, if you're willing to carry the ball across the goal line with them, if not, then sayonara.
Sayonara. And that's number one, right? What do you call this? TV is always number one in reality TV competition shows. TV is definitely number one. Then tattoo comes second, right? Tattooing comes second.
Yes.
Exactly.
And then somewhere along that long list comes your physical health.
Ooh.
So, yeah, like to me, like what I had going on outside of the shop or outside of the shop and outside of tattooing and outside of everything was, learning that I'm somewhere on the spectrum of hypermobility disability disorders. And I had done 8 months of physical therapy the calendar year before filming.
Mm-hmm.
So when I was going to set, I was still supposed to be doing my home physical therapy exercises, eating correctly,
Mm-hmm.
sleeping, 8 hours a night, and, staying hydrated, and like basically doing like self-care to 1,000%. And when you get there, like I said, they want to make TV. So no matter what they need to do to make that good TV
Stressful,
show,
right? Mm-hmm.
nothing else matters. So
Mm-hmm.
which, okay, like if you can participate with that, then good, but at the time, like I still couldn't even get on a treadmill and walk for 15 minutes without extreme pain,
Oh.
so, okay, sorry, I'm cutting you off.
No, that's fine. That's fine. So I
Yeah.
remembered. That's why I remembered you said to the judges that I'm having a hard time because I have like personal problems, and you said that in the show, right? In
Yes.
the judging. Oh, so that's what happened. Now
Yeah.
we know. Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, they cut it short. Like I had a lot to, I didn't know because, I honestly only watched the first season of
Mm-hmm.
Inkmaster because I know James Bond. And when I saw him up on
James
that TV,
Bond.
yeah, when I saw that,
I like
when I,
him.
s- he's
Yeah.
great.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Yeah, so when I saw him on the TV screen, I was like, oh my God, I need to watch this. And, and he's just amazing, but I only watched that season and I didn't watch any other seasons. I didn't have TV. So
Mm-hmm.
I was only watching the show, at the shop that I was working at in the TV in the waiting room. And I would watch it when it would come on. And, so I didn't have any access to it. And then somehow I'm on it, and I'm like,
Mm-hmm. It's like
ah,
that surreal moment, right? Oh my goodness, I'm here.
yeah,
Finally.
and to me, it's just like so weird because it's like, because I kept going through like the process of the casting and stuff like that, and just
Mm-hmm.
kept progressing. And I was like, there's got to be a reason for this. There has to be like, why is this happening? And
Mm-hmm.
so for me, like later on, like when I uh, got myself eliminated, and I went back to the hotel, like we had one producer that always kept saying that they had people, other past contestants and stuff like that, messaging them later saying, I regret that I didn't do this or I didn't do that or,
Ooh.
stuff like that. And so they kept saying
The
like, while
trauma,
you're
right? There's a
right.
trauma, the
Yeah.
conflict.
So then why they're saying like, while you're here, do whatever it is that you want to do, because this is your chance. Like you're not going to get a chance. Like once you're gone, you're gone. So you're not going to get the chance to do
Mm-hmm.
what you want to do. So just bring it, And so, so since I basically knew, like once I was on set and stuff like that, that was not the place I needed to be at that point in my life.
Mm-hmm. So,
I sat.
what do you call this? Your mindset is not winning the competition, right?
Oh no, no,
No, right?
no,
Just being
immediately.
there, surviving.
No, like immediately, like soon as I got my first wardrobe pick, my mind went to how I'm not doing this to myself. How do I get out of here as soon as possible? So
Wow.
yeah,
Oh my
yeah.
goodness. Is that because of the stress, the environment, like with the producers and stuff like that?
Yeah, like it was basically basically at the end of the day, like it was a combination of like everything. You don't have control of the environment. You
Mm-hmm.
don't have control of when you're getting up. You don't have control of when you're going to sleep. You have no control of when you're eating. Like they have full control. And now years later, finding out, that I am that I am hypermobile and that I'm also hypoglycemic, like I need to have the control,
Mm-hmm.
like I have
Exactly.
to. Yeah, like I need to have a very structured environment around me. Like I need to eat every 3 hours so that my blood sugar stays level. I have to do physical therapy exercises literally every day and it takes an hour. Like I have to do like all of these things to get me set and ready for my day so that I have, that I can have a productive, full day. And I didn't really know I didn't know that stuff then. All I knew is that while I was there in that
Mm-hmm.
environment, like warning bells were going off, just telling me, get the hell out of here. You need to leave.
That's
You
your
know?
mindset, right? Like, just get the heck out of here in the
Yes.
in the show. Oh my goodness. And I can imagine because when you guys are tattooing canvases, you guys have to what do you call this one? There's like a camera in front of you, right? Like
Oh
every
yeah,
time.
they have the
Mm-hmm.
cameras. Yeah, the cameras are like
Like I
all
was
going
watching it.
around you.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
Yeah, like the cameras, like, you sort of, because they're not like right up in your face and stuff like that. Like
Mm-hmm.
they sort of fall to the background. Like you do quickly adjust to the fact that there is cameras around.
Camera. Mm-hmm.
Like they're not really intrusive, so that you are able to um, not be aware of them.
Oh, okay.
So
So you got used to it quick, huh?
yeah,
With the cameras and stuff. Okay.
yeah.
So moving on with my questions. The next one is Inkmaster roll call is where I say the name of everyone who is in your season, the talent, the cast, the judges, and you will tell me the first thing that comes in your brain. Good, bad, ugly, or indifferent. Are you ready?
Okay.
Okay. So the first one on the list is LT. Opinions on LT.
LT.
Ooh.
He was very young, and
Mm-hmm.
I think he was traumatized from the experience, and I think he was too young to be there.
Oh, yes. And what do you call this? And there was a fight, right? In the first episode, there was a fight between LT and I think Ryan Eternal or something.
Oh, I don't
Face,
remember.
face to
Yeah,
face. They were like shouting.
yeah. Like I don't remember. I forget who. Yeah, he got in the fight with and stuff like that. But yeah, I think he was just young. He doesn't at that point no real life experiences to pull
Mm-hmm.
from and stuff like that. And I think he was a little in over his head.
Oh
But
yeah. Hmm.
yeah, but a great guy.
Especially with the TV, right? It's
Yeah,
his first time to be on the TV show with like tattooing and stuff, and so young. Yes, definitely stressful for him. So
yeah.
the next one is Javo Scott.
Javo. He's the reason I probably couldn't wear magenta. I wanted my magenta hair, and they said no.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but him and Robbie definitely don't get along outside of the show.
They
Um,
don't. Oh my goodness.
no, no. To me, it's upsetting because like I have like my twin sister and my brother and stuff like that, and I get along with
Mm-hmm.
them. Like you have to, like I think you should, family's there to,
Number one.
hold you up. Yeah, they shouldn't be pulling you down. So, um, yeah.
Interesting. Interesting. Next is Tim Lees.
Tim Lees. He had a hard time adjusting to being on set, like
Mm-hmm.
between the difference between when the camera was on and when the camera was off. So,
Oh, like he's
yeah.
uncomfortable with like the cameras and everything, and with like the having like the what do you call this, the mic with you all the time.
Yeah, they have you on, yeah, you mics all the time. But like, I think just differentiating between like when the camera was on somebody else and somebody was uh, putting on a show for the camera.
Ooh.
As
Mm-hmm.
opposed to like when the camera was off. So not being able to differentiate between the person that was on set as opposed to the person offset.
Uh-huh. And what do you call this one? Because in the reality TV show, you have to really what do you call this? Like show your like kind of your like TV side,
Mm-hmm.
for the fans for
Yeah.
watching the show because
Yeah.
it's reality TV. We have to watch something, like the fans have to see something, not just
Right.
tattooing.
Right. And
Exactly.
it's
Interesting.
reality TV. Did the person who, is on that show, are they being themselves or are they being a character?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's the person's choice, like when you go, like, are you going to be you or are you going to be a personification of you? You know?
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well said.
So,
Yes.
yeah.
How about like what do you call this one? The tattooing. Does it take like 8 hours? Exactly 8 hours, like they said on the TV.
Yeah, that's probably, like, because everybody asks that, like when I'm at the tattoo conventions and stuff like that,
Mm-hmm.
and they ask if those, if the times are real.
Real. Uh-huh.
Yes. Yes, they are. They do time you.
Oh my goodness. So it's
Yeah.
real. Eight
Yeah.
hours. Can you imagine like every episode, 8 hours, 4 hours?
Yeah.
And I know you did like a tag team tattoo with Julia, right? With Julia, that's 8 hours, I think.
I forget how long that was, but yeah,
Uh-huh.
because then they had you alternating. So then
Mm-hmm.
so it wasn't like you were doing the full time yourself. It was split, and then you
How
got
was that
up.
experience? Tattooing
Um,
with Julia, then after that switching with someone with your
um,
Julia.
I've I've done it before, not on such a large scale.
Mm-hmm.
It's just interesting, because then you get to learn how they work, and and you learn a little bit more about how you work, because then you're right next to somebody, and
Mm-hmm.
like the end result, the tattoo is the same, but how you get there can be slightly different for each person.
Wow, interesting. Very interesting. So the next one on the list is Ryan Eternal.
Uh, I he still is, like, anytime I run into him, he's just super chill. He's super nice.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So do you think that drama with Ryan and LT is just for TV, just for show, just for?
I don't know.
Oh, that's fine. That's
I
fine.
haven't seen the two of them interact
Mm-hmm.
offset, so I have no idea.
It's okay. Yes. So next one is Robbie RuPaul.
Yeah.
RuPaul? RuPaul.
Yeah, Ripple. Yeah,
Sorry about
Robbie,
that.
he's awesome. I'm actually in tattoo business mastery, and he was in it last class and stuff like that. So I actually just earlier today I was watching
Ooh.
the podcast with him on it. He's super um, real, like he's
Mm-hmm.
just going to lay it out there, like, and he's going to be blunt and honest with you. He's going to tell you what you need to hear, which is
Which is good.
great. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
like I actually had a good conversation with him one of the tattoo conventions where we were talking about being on the show and about how he had talked about how that experience he needed in his life sort of to tear him down to build him back up. And
Like a wake up call, right?
sort of, yeah, like it's
Mm-hmm.
sort of like Phoenix rising from the ashes, like having a rebirth in your life. Um, for me, it was, I already had that experience before getting there. Like I had been dealing with the federal. I was dealing with federal audits and with physical injuries and stuff like that. And so then I was trying to
Mm-hmm.
just, find like a peaceful place at that point in my life. I didn't need to be broken down and built back up. I was already torn apart.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and going in the show, you're already what they call this, experience that pain, right? So
Yeah.
you don't need that extra tearing down from the
No.
show. Mm. Next one is Taisha Reels.
Oh, she's super cool. She's so, yeah, like I really like Ty. Um, I'm hoping that they bring back, what was the, grudge match,
Mm-hmm.
the spinoff, because she had messaged me about it, about going on. So
Hopefully.
I would love that.
Oh, the fans are craving. the super fans. Oh, by the way, this is not a podcast. This is going to be on YouTube channel.
Okay, cool. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. So
cool.
it's gonna be there forever. Our live chat.
Nice.
So the next one is Angel Bauta.
Angel's super fun. He also does the cosplay, and he's
Mm-hmm.
been dressing up and going to the conventions in cosplay. So that's super awesome. He actually I think the last interaction I had with him, again, he's a person who's very honest and he's going to tell you how he feels and he's not going to sugarcoat it whatsoever. And we were at a convention and my booth aide had wandered down to his booth and he got all jammed up in between appointments and stuff.
Ooh.
So he had asked her if she could break him down and set him back up. And she did. And he was like, oh my God, how did you know how to do that? And she's like, Caroline told me, so, and then he also had a really awesome, like heart to heart with my apprentice.
Seems like a cool guy.
Yeah.
Like a really cool guy. My goodness.
Yeah.
One of his moments in the show is I think when he talked to Chris Element, Angel Bauta and Chris Element
Yeah.
went face to face, and he's like, what do you call this one? He said, if you want to be my competitor, give me a fight or something like that. He was
Right.
screaming to Chris Element.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was like
Again.
intense. Oh.
Right. Yeah. Again, Angel's not going to sugarcoat,
Mm-hmm.
if you're going to call yourself a rival, you have to be worthy of that title and you have to bring a
Exactly.
fight. Yeah. Again, like that's what I'm talking about, like that healthy competition that, it makes everybody in that process improve, you can't it can't be one-sided.
Exactly. You have to like fight.
Yeah.
Especially with with your partner, Chris Element and Angel Bauta. The next one is Julia Carlson.
Honestly, indifferent. I don't see her at conventions. I just
Mm-hmm.
don't see her, just hearing stuff through the grapevine and stuff like that. Like I honestly don't, try not to put any value into what these people say.
Mm-hmm.
So and I just try to it is what it is. So
Exactly. It is what it is. What do you call this one? Opinions on Julia Carlson's canvas on that episode when she tattooed herself just to survive the episode. I was like, oh
oh,
my goodness. That was a
uh,
shocking episode. Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I was like, oh.
Right. Well, sometimes I'll definitely say like those canvases. I honestly, my opinion is that I think they keep them in a small little room, feed them a lot of Red Bull, and talk a lot of shit in their ears sometimes before
Mm-hmm.
they unleash them, onto the artists and stuff like that. And they'll say things that they shouldn't say.
Mm-hmm.
So but it's also you then responding to that as well. Like I know she was saying that there was a lot of personal stuff happening at home that time when they were filming that specific episode, and that she had let that get in her head. Um, and it's just sometimes just trying to uh, keep that line between like your work and home try to keep that separate. And
It's hard.
it's
Mm-hmm.
hard. Yeah, it's not
And
easy.
I heard that if you're in a reality TV show, you only have like a few minutes to use the phone to talk to your family.
Yes,
It's very limited, right?
very limited. They do take your
Oh
phone. Yeah, they do take your phone from you while filming. Yeah,
my goodness, yes. It's hard. That's
yeah.
so hard. And what do you call this one? And good thing she didn't went home to in that episode when she tattooed herself, because that would have been messed up, right? Going home, you tattooed yourself and they sent you home. My
Right.
goodness.
Yeah.
Yes. And what do you call this? The next one is Emily Eligado.
She's a sweetheart. She, again, like I was saying, like, are you choosing to be you on the show, or are you
Mm-hmm.
choosing to be a personification? So she decided that she was going to play the villain, and she's far from it. Like she's a really,
Oh,
yeah,
interesting.
yeah. She's honestly like the first person who, like, after I got eliminated, they don't let you say goodbye.
Mm-hmm.
But they still had filming for me to do. So when they brought me back to set, she was the first one to come up to me and ask me if I was okay.
Oh my goodness, because watching the show, and looking at her, in the first episode, she said good luck to one of the contestants when they were walking to the judges. So I thought she was a bad girl or a B.
Yeah. Yeah. Like that's what her game plan was,
Mm-hmm.
was that she, that if she, wanted to make her mark, if she wanted to get noticed, then that's what she was going to do. And that's what she did. So,
Mm-hmm. And by the way, looking back to going back to Julia Carlson, I have a theory about the canvases, human canvases.
okay.
Maybe some of them are what do you call this one? Some of them are actors or actresses, just to create a storyline or something like that, right?
I
Mm-hmm.
don't know.
Just a
Um,
just a fan theory.
right. You know what I mean? Like, they're probably just as the same as the contestants,
Mm-hmm.
like there's stuff said, from the production.
Mm-hmm.
You're placed with specific people, like you do a psych eval before going. I don't think they do that with the campuses, but I'm sure those people too are like, we're being on TV and we want to make our mark as well. So they're also, they're there just that time and they're going to say
Mm-hmm.
what they feel like they need to say or do.
And maybe
Um,
they just
yeah.
really want like a good tattoo.
Well, that,
That's why
yeah,
they're
maybe,
angry, right? Mm-hmm.
maybe, so whole thing, you know what I mean? Like, I couldn't imagine. I don't know if I could put myself out there to be put on a reality show to get a tattoo with the chance that it might not be amazing.
Yes, and some of the canvases are like, like over the top. Like, they want tattoos on like armpits or like the head, right?
Yeah.
Like
Well,
a
they,
very difficult spot to tattoo
yes. Um, but sometimes they look for those kinds of people.
for drama, right?
Yes,
For
I think
TV,
so. In
exactly.
my opinion, yes. They
For the
want
wow,
those,
wow factor.
yeah, like, like they want those kinds of, they want to make TV, they want to make entertainment. They have to have entertaining people, so you can't just have somebody who's just going to sit there quietly and get a tattoo.
Exactly. That would be like a boring season.
Very. If everybody came in and said, okay, this is what I'd like, and then they see what they're drawing
That's
and they'd be
fine.
like, yes, that's amazing. Okay. And then yeah,
Next.
yes, it would be very boring.
Exactly. Oh my goodness. So next one on the list is Joshua Hebert. Hebert?
Oh, yeah, Hibbard. Uh, like, okay, because all of the controversy with him getting eliminated, like being,
Mm-hmm.
leave the show happened after I was there. Uh,
Mm-hmm. But it's first time best tattoo of the day went home in the competition. I was like,
yeah.
oh my goodness, what's going on? I just went to get a popcorn upstairs, and then when I went down, he's eliminated. I have no clue. When I
Yeah.
rewatched it again, I was like, oh my goodness.
Yeah. It
Spill the
was,
tea, Caroline. Spill the tea.
Supposedly, because like I said, I wasn't there, so this is all
Mm-hmm.
hearsay, you know. So this
Mm-hmm.
is what I'm hearing from other people. Is that they had a strict like no drugs policy on set or something like that, and he
Mm-hmm.
supposedly had like a vape pen like with weed, and then that's what got him eliminated.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know. I wasn't
Mm-hmm.
there. I have no idea.
Oh my goodness. I mean, I can imagine because what do you call this one? In some states, marijuana was legal, but maybe again, that was long time before. How long was it? Has it been the Inkmaster in
Uh,
your season?
we filmed in 2014, so it's been a while.
It's been a while, yes.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering maybe, it's in that state before marijuana is not legal yet. So that's why.
No, it wouldn't have been. So
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I have no idea. Like I said, this is
Ooh,
when I
that's
heard through
fine.
the
That's fine.
grapevine, I don't know.
That's fine. By the way, I'm drinking what do you call this? Welch's.
Nice.
So the next one I have is um Don Pettigard.
Oh, Dom. He's really
Don.
nice too. Yeah. Dom, like, he does Renaissance fairs and stuff like that. Every time I
Mm-hmm.
see him at a convention, it's just super like, hey, what's up? You know, I like watching him posting his stuff from the Ren fairs and whatnot. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, he's super cool.
He received what do you call this? He got a good edit in the show. Like he looks chill, like um what do you call this? Super chill guy,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Very relaxed.
Relaxed,
Yeah.
exactly. And next one is Aaron.
Oh,
Aaron.
Aaron, bunny ears. I love bunny ears. I've known him before the show. And so I used to see him and Mark at the tattoo conventions all the
Mm-hmm.
time. And and it was always like, uh, I never, I just see them, but I never went over and said hi. Eventually, at one show, I finally went over and I was like, hey guys, what's up and whatnot. And like, Aaron and Mark both like very chill,
Mm-hmm.
and also just very much about just living, like I just saw them at the Philly convention and then afterwards
Mm-hmm.
they were going, um, snowboarding and stuff like that, so they're just all about like enjoying life and getting out there.
And yeah, you said that Mark and Aaron, right? I think they're
Yeah.
friends, right? Mark
Yes.
Longnecker. Yeah, they're
Yeah.
friends because I saw Aaron's IG story. They were hanging out, going someplace else. So
Yeah.
that's cool. Cool. Next person is Chris Element.
Chris Element, again, just neutral on him because, like, I've never really gotten to interact with him much outside of the show.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really see him at the conventions. Again, it's just like a hi. He's usually working when I pass by, so I've never really gotten to um, sit and actually talk with him.
Oh wow. And what do you call
Yeah.
this one? Have you seen the episode where Chris and Aaron fought? I think Chris threw what do you call this? Threw a sock on Aaron and they fought in that episode. I was like, "Oh my goodness, what's going on, guys?"
Who knows? You know what I mean? Like to me, I'm just still like I find it amusing that Aaron always had these tight ass jeans on, So like,
Mhm.
so yeah, I don't remember I forget what that was all about. Like I
Mhm.
had to watch the whole season, so
Yes.
yeah, so I forget exactly what that was all about.
Because it's weird because they were so like both of them are like calm, relaxed person just like Dawn, but
Yeah,
then suddenly they just fought out of nowhere.
yeah.
And as a fan, I was like, "Oh my goodness, what's going on, guys? This is crazy."
I yeah, I don't remember what that was.
hmm But yeah, this season is very intense. Caroline,
Yeah.
like each episode is like tons of fights, arguments. I was like, "Oh my goodness,
We
interesting."
Yeah, like actually there were comments from the public be like, "Oh my God, when did Inkmaster join the White Housewives
House.
franchise?" You know?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Or
because of all the drama. Like yeah, our season they amped it up. It was intense, you know. Then me, I'm like, I need peace in my life right now. So I'm gonna go now.
I'm gonna walk away. I've
You're like,
experienced it.
yeah.
I've seen the judges. Time to walk away. That's good. And what they call this one. You said earlier that you guys had to like talk with like the psychiatrist or something like that.
Yeah, that's actually a insurance thing because early
Mm-hmm.
in reality TV history, there was a guy who like lost his shit and like killed a bunch of people, or I think killed himself and somebody else.
Mm.
Um,
Oh my goodness.
so yeah,
I
so
think I
they
know what
want
you're talking about. I think
yeah,
it's the
so
show I Love Money, but I'm not sure. Don't
some
quote me on that. Go ahead.
yeah, something like that, you know. So so yeah, so for insurance purposes, they do have to do the psych eval. But to me, then that also means then that they know your triggers and they know how
Uh-huh.
to manipulate you.
They know
So
your weakness, they know your strengths, they know, how you play the game, the strategy.
yeah,
Oh
yeah,
my goodness. Interesting, huh?
yeah.
And what they call this one. Do you have anything to add to Mark Longnecker?
Oh, Mark too. Oh my God, he's ah, like the first time I did meet them, um, uh, we were at a hotel bar at one of the conventions. It was a Sunday, like everybody, it was the end, like everybody's like packing up to leave and stuff like that. And so I had just been at dinner when I came back. So I had my coat and I had my phone in
Mm-hmm.
the coat pocket. And so this is the show then where I actually first started talking to both him and Aaron. And my
Oh my
thank
goodness.
you,
Mm-hmm.
my welcome into the fold was I had left my jacket on a bar stool and had gone a couple bar stools down to go talk to another tattoo artist. So then Mark comes over and he's like, I'm really cold. I'm like, fine, you can wear my jacket, you know. Little,
Aw.
right. But little did I know, he took my phone. He took my phone and started prank calling people.
What? Oh
Yeah,
my goodness.
right. So then he was telling people that I was drunk under the table and asking to be rescued, and that they were the only people that could rescue me.
Oh my
Eh,
goodness. Can you
yeah,
imagine if Mark called your employer or something, or your insurance agent or something?
he
They
just
would be like, "Oh my goodness, what's going on with Caroline?"
right, you know. So well, I had no idea that he did this, no clue. And so the next day, I'm at the airport waiting for my flight, and then I'm getting concerned texts from people like, "You okay?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm fine. What? I'm waiting for my flight. What's up?" And they're like, "We got this phone call," and I'm like, "No."
The sudden click, right? Oh my goodness, I think
Oh
that's
yeah.
Mark.
I'm like, that motherfucker. Yeah. So
That's
yeah,
funny.
yeah. They're great. Like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
Like, yeah, you know you're in when they start picking on you.
Cool guys, actually. Wow.
Yeah.
I've never been in a tattoo convention, but hopefully I'll try to go there and see what's going on. There's one in, what do you call this one? New England tattoo convention.
Hmm.
So that's interesting. I'll try to check it out.
That one's at the Mohegan Sun. So I'll
Yes,
actually,
exactly.
yes, I'll be there. So yeah, I just talked to the promoter, so I'll be there.
Am I going to see you there?
Yeah.
Ooh. All right. I'll message you.
Sweet.
And the next one is Eric Suda.
Uh,
Sorry if I butchered your last
yeah.
name. Yeah.
Eric. Again, he was a person that I knew prior to the show. Um,
Mm-mm.
and he's also another super chill guy. Um, and um, what else can I like? He's just like again like somebody who's going to tell you how it is. and just super chill. Actually, I'm supposed to go get tattooed by him. I was having laser treatments though done on my rib cage, so
Mm-hmm.
I can't get tattooed until after the laser treatments because the laser will mess up the tattoo. Um, and
And
I
it's
haven't,
hard, right? It's hard
yeah,
to get tattooed in the what do you call this rib area, in your rib
yeah, I have
cage.
my other side done. So I need to balance myself out by getting the other side completed.
Well, especially in like the competition, it's hard because you have a limit, right? Time limit, 6 hours to tattoo a rib cage.
Oh
That's
God, yeah.
hard.
It is, and the rib cage, like it can, the spectrum of it doesn't feel like anything to the person to that it's extremely painful or it tickles or it's a
Mm-hmm.
combination there of all of that. And so it's not that easy for people sometimes to sit.
Mm-hmm. Can you imagine like tattooing, like doing the challenges, like texture, ingenuity, or something like that, details on a rib cage? That's super hard.
It is. It
Mm-hmm.
definitely is. And then if you got the person who's flopping around like a fish out of water, you
Oh,
know what I mean? And then they're like, oh, there's a swiggle here or a blowout over there. And it's like, well, the person convulsed into my needle. Like, sorry about that. Like,
it's hard. Like watching the show, I can feel the stress from the tattoo artist
yeah,
watching it. Actually, it was funny because I remembered Joshua Hebert. He always gets these canvases that wants what they call this one, rib cage tattoos.
yeah,
But then he will always talk it out of them, like have them transfer that tattoo to another spot in their body. And it's funny because his competitors are not successful in bringing him down.
yeah. So that's, yeah, smart strategy. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Very smart.
it's, yeah, and it's just like being able, um, to have that relationship with the client with the canvas, like establishing like I got your best interest, and so this is what we should do instead. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. And that's why I was sad when he went home because he was the tattoo of the day.
yeah,
The best tattoo of the day went home for the first time. I was sad about that. But again,
yeah.
it's the rules. It's a competition.
Yep, got to play by the rules.
Exactly. And next one is Clean Rock One.
Oh, clean. Okay, like clean. He's awesome too.
Mm-hmm.
Again, a guy who's not gonna sugarcoat anything, and like I can. To me, it's interesting because I knew about him prior to the show. Like
Really?
he was in the tattoo magazines when I first started tattooing. So I remember, and he actually tattooed one of my friends, but I never met him.
Mm-hmm.
So until the show. You know, so um, so it was really really interesting to like put the face to the name and the personality. Like he definitely has a personality on him.
Mm-hmm.
So
Finally meeting the person from the magazine, like,
yeah. Yeah, I can
surprising.
remember some of my friends wanted me to introduce them to him. It was when we were at the Wildwood convention a couple of years ago, and I had just broken my pinky toe, and
Oh.
my friend wanted those the ice cream dots or
Mm-hmm.
whatever. She made us like go all the way down the boardwalk. Like, and we're going miles and I'm walking on a broken toe. And I was like, oh my God, my foot's going to fall off.
Oh my goodness.
And like we turn
That's hard.
around,
Mm-hmm.
we turn around and we finally got the dots, we start turning back. And, cause we had seen, I think it was Affliction and, Clean talking to a
Mm-hmm.
group of people on our way up the boardwalk. And so I said, yeah, on the way back, I was like, I don't want to interrupt them while they're talking to some fans. That was like, so on our way back, like if they're not occupied, then we'll go over and say hi. But now all I am is in pain. I'm like, I just need to get off this foot,
I don't
you
even
know.
want to talk to Clean. Just let's just go home.
I just
Just
want to go. Can we go back
go
to our
home.
hotel, please? And we get back down, and so we're, making our way back down the boardwalk, and I didn't even have to go over. They weren't busy, and like Clean came over to say hi, So
And you can't even focus because your
he,
toe is
yeah,
hurting.
yeah. So, but yeah, no, he's super chill, super nice, super awesome.
Nice. What
So
do you call this one? I felt bad for Clean because what do you call this one? He was runner up twice.
yes,
I was
yes,
like, oh my goodness, I felt bad for him. He was what do you call this? He was this close in the second
yeah,
season. But I respect that. I respect
yeah,
that sportsmanship,
yeah,
joining
yeah,
another season and going through it again and being happy about it and
yeah,
being nice about it. Yep.
yeah. Like uh, when they were showing the master canvases, during our finale. They put them all up, and I saw Clean's go up, and I was like, ooh, because he didn't completely hit the mark on what it was that they were asking. And I was like,
Of the
oh God.
challenge, yes.
Yeah, like, cause he was so confident, and he's like, I got this. And then I like saw that go up, and I was like, like my heart sank. I was like, oh. I was
Oh my
like,
goodness.
oh no. And then when they showed Jason's, I was like, oh, like
Oh wow.
I was like, that is it. I was like, if they don't give him the
hmm
win, this is rigged. Like this is going through my head as I'm sitting on stage.
Oh my goodness. So that's your favorite out of the three, out of
Yeah,
Eric, Clean, and Jason?
yeah, yeah.
Jason?
I liked Eric's too, but
hmm
yeah, like I could see like why they made their decision. So.
Speaking of Jason, what's your opinion of Jason Clayton?
He's also a super chill dude. I know his anxiety like keeps him away from being very like social, like on the convention network and stuff like that.
hmm
But he also had said, let's see, at what point? At some point on set, like that, he's like that. Um, if anybody ever needs any help, to just reach out. You know, like,
hmm
like don't ever hesitate to ask. So um, yeah, so he's a giver, definitely.
Nice. That's nice to
Yeah,
hear. And actually, what do you call this one? Yeah, Jason for me, he deserves that win, that
yeah,
season.
yeah,
hmm
yeah,
That back piece, oh my goodness, it's like Disney, right?
yeah,
Disney on the canvas back. Oh my goodness,
yeah.
mind blowing.
It was very mind blowing. So I was because didn't his first master canvas like bail, and then he had to have another canvas?
Oh yes, I think so.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, yeah. So when I saw that unfolding, I'm like, oh no.
Oh my goodness.
So, but
hmm
yeah, yeah. So I think that definitely had that fire, lit that fire for him. And
hmm
yeah,
So nice. It's like
yeah.
cartoon. Just like my tattoo. I have like a tattoo on my back. It's anime tattoo,
hmm
but I'm not sure if anime is considered new school tattoo.
To me, like honestly, because I started
hmm
tattooing in '98, like the a whole idea of all of like these different uh, genres of tattooing is
hmm
crazy, like because I didn't have, like you were doing, you were either doing flash or you were doing portrait work or,
hmm
or then if like you were stepping into the world of like Guy Aitchison and stuff like that, then you were getting like the biomech stuff, and pushing the boundaries, um, going to art school and then going into tattooing
hmm
wasn't really a thing back then. Even though I did go to art school, and while I got into the art program, knowing full well that when I left, I was going to be tattooing. So you didn't really. you didn't see that as often. And the people who were doing that and getting involved at the time that I was, you didn't have social media and you didn't have the connection that as easily connecting with other types of people like that. Like these days, it's amazing.
Yeah, these days, what do you call this? Instagram, you have um, Facebook and this and that. It's
Yeah,
easier. Yep.
very much easier, you know? Like, oh yeah, and then Mark too. Like he's the reason I found out about Zoom over the shutdown. Because he's a yoga instructor. So then he was doing yoga classes. So
Mark
then,
Longnecker is
yep,
a wow, that's cool.
yeah,
Interesting. It's hard, yoga's hard. You have to
it is.
balance, you have to like do this and that. And what do you call this one? Some people say that Jason um doesn't deserve that win, but in my opinion, he deserved it. He deserves that win,
Mine too.
right? Because
Yeah,
even though his performance is up and down in the competition,
yeah,
at the end of the day, what matters is you survive the game, the
yeah,
competition, each episode,
yeah,
and what matters is what do you call this? The finale,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Even though Clean was doing really good throughout the competition, I think what really matters is the finale. Survive the
yeah,
game, survive the competition, and ace that finale.
yeah. Yeah, I think that that's what Clean's downfall was. You know, Jason
Mm-hmm.
had the up and down journey. So then for him to get that win, he needed to nail all of the criteria that they were asking.
Mm-hmm.
Clean thought he had it in the bag and he sort of relaxed a little going into the final piece. And
Mm-hmm.
it came back and bit him in the butt. So,
Exactly. But what do you call this one? But at least he won. I think the following seasons, right? I think so.
so
The season
uh,
10, I think.
I forget
I forgot too.
now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's been a minute. But yeah, then he did. We were there for that finale, so that was really cool. It was really nice to see that because he did want it, and because then he went. What was it? The one that he went back on with Aaron, and then they got eliminated because the Buddha had the thumb backwards. But like, if you look at the reference material, like the thumb looked backwards anyways. They were replicating what they saw. So, um, so it just like when it got tattooed and it got translated, it just looked a
Mm-hmm.
little bit more backwards.
Exactly. And
So
what do you call this one? The next one is opinions on the judges. Oliver Peck.
Oliver, I didn't like him.
Ooh, why?
Because like it just the attitude that he had on him,
Mm-hmm.
like it didn't seem uh it sort of seemed like he was holding himself above some other people around him, which uh, you know what I mean? Like everybody, we're all human. You know what I mean? We're all on the same level.
Uh-huh.
So to me, it came off that he had a holier than thou attitude about him.
Mm-hmm. How about Chris Nunez?
I actually made him cry. Um, I didn't do it on purpose. But
What happened?
it was when I got eliminated. Like you have to
Mm-hmm.
talk in front of the judges and whatnot. And so basically, I didn't know what to say. I didn't watch anybody else film getting eliminated. So here
Mm-hmm.
I am standing in front of all three, of the judges, and I'm like, sure. Um, now what? And I have to say something so that they have something to air. And I was like, what do I talk about? And I couldn't talk about my genetic disorder because I didn't know enough about it at that point. So I didn't talk on that, So I just basically was bringing up about like my crazy journey, through leaving my mentor.
Okay, guys, I lost Caroline. Hi, how are you?
Yeah, it kicked me out again.
I know, right? There was like a countdown on the top. I was like, oh my goodness, what the
Well,
heck?
I guess we have a time limit like Zoom.
I know, right? So, what do you call this one? We're talking about Chris Nunez.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll be over soon. Don't worry.
Yeah. No, it's all good. It's all good. Yeah, I made him cry because like I said, like I had to talk, I had to like when you get eliminated, then they want you to speak, and
Mm-hmm.
talk about like what, stuff. And so then I was like, so I was just like talking about like my journey from like when I started tattooing, like, and about how I left my mentor's shop and then went from one toxic work environment to another, and then how I got, federal audits and physical injuries, and then I landed in the shop with Julia, and how when I was working with her, like I could see that she had the same desires and fire in her, like when I first started tattooing. And like I tried to get her to go to tattoo conventions with me, and she
Mm-hmm.
wouldn't go, So I had pointed out to the cast, I was like, all these people that are sitting here, I was like, these people are my tattoo family, these are the people I see at the tattoo conventions. Like this is my family. And I was like, I was trying to get Julia to go to the shows with me so I could introduce her to the family. I was like, but I had to come here to introduce her. I was like, so here's Julia. And then I walked out. And
Wow.
so that hit a nerve with him, supposedly. Both LT and Angel both told me that they both did see him, Chris, getting upset
Wow.
over it.
He seems like a really cool guy, Chris Nunez.
Yeah, like I think like his role is to play like bad cop, and I don't know if he's comfortable with it.
But he's a cool guy in my opinion because I'm a fan. I've never met him before, but in my opinion as a fan, he's a cool guy, but everyone is out to get him.
Yeah,
Like, Kyle Dunbar, right? Remember that
right.
that
I
fight? I was like, "Oh, my
I
goodness."
yeah, because I was just talking to Kyle over the weekend in Philly,
Mm-hmm.
and I haven't really ever asked him specifically like what that was all about. Kyle has his own podcast too,
Mm-hmm.
so and then he was asking if I wanted to be on it, so maybe then I'll ask him what that was all
Yes.
about.
Oh my God,
Yeah,
goodness. I'll check it out. His
yeah.
podcast. Yeah, my goodness. Like even Randy from season 3, I think. His comments on Nunez before he leave the show, he said that, by the way, Nunez, my boyfriend don't think you're cute. I was like, oh,
Oh
but
my God. See, that makes me not want to go back and watch, because like
hmm
it's seriously, um, yeah, like I just feel like yeah, Nunez got himself in a position where, yeah, like he's, yeah, playing like bad cop or whatever. And so, yeah, so he's getting hate. And,
yes, a lot,
yeah,
right?
yeah, I don't
And
know if he
always on
deserves it.
Nunez,
Yeah,
not on Peck.
yeah,
Because everyone loves Peck on that show, but then it seems like Nunez gets all the bad credits.
yeah.
The last judge is Dave Navarro. Opinions
So,
on Dave
yeah,
Navarro.
Navarro is super chill. Like when um they would send Dave in by himself to watch you work,
Mm-hmm.
and then they would send Nunez and Peck together in to then go and watch everybody work. And you could tell when Oliver and Nunez were in the room because you could feel the tension turn up. But you had no idea that Dave was standing behind you. Like he's such a like calm person. Had no idea. Yeah, you
Yes,
wouldn't know until he said something, and you're like, "Oh, hey, what's up?"
so chill, right? And
Very
so
chill.
cool. Uh-huh.
Yeah,
And what do you call this one? Like every time they speak, like the way they speak, right? Like the how they critique the tattoos and stuff like that. They were always on point with
yeah,
what they have to say, what they want to, bits and pieces of the tattoos. They were so cool. They don't have anything that you're reading or something like that?
Yeah.
So cool. Yep. And what do you call this one? So the next question I have is, if you were given chance to compete in the show again, would you do it?
Probably, because now I know what I need to do for
Mm-hmm.
myself. Um, so if I were able to implement what I need to do for myself, fit for my physical health while being there, then yeah, you know, um, you know, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would go back.
Ooh, I would
Yeah.
love to see that. I would love, for them to bring like, the past contestants of the show and just what they call this? They could call it Inkmaster mixed match or something like that.
Something, yeah.
Right? Or Redemption 2.0. They
Right.
could do that.
Yeah. Yeah, because I did go back and I did do Redemption. That was fun. I really enjoyed doing that. So,
I should.
yeah.
I'll check that out.
Yeah.
Master Redemption.
Yeah.
So, Caroline, you did good in the what do you call this one? In Master Roll Call. We learned a lot of tea. You spilled some tea. Oh my goodness, about some of the cast, some of like the behind the scenes. So thank you
You're
for
welcome.
that. And do you have anything that you want to plug for our viewers, for our future viewers in YouTube about
Basically,
your store, etc.?
yeah, yeah. I own Radiant Energy Tattoo in Brick, New Jersey. We're there. Um, I'm typically there Tuesday to Saturday, 12 o'clock to 8. That's when the shop is open. Right now, we're closed on Sundays and Mondays. You can reach us always by texting us. That is the best way. The phone number is 732-503-8469. You could also email, but we'll get to those when we can get to those. I have a tendency to not look at the boxes like in Instagram and like Twitter, even LinkedIn. People are hitting you up on LinkedIn because we want to try and keep everything consolidated. So we usually have you text the shop so
Mm-hmm.
that we can have our conversation, um, a history of the conversation and stuff like that in case like we need to go back. Because I've had in the past Facebook Messenger delete portions of
Mm-hmm.
conversations with people. Like if they would send an image along and say, hey, this is my reference material and this is the picture that I want to refer to. And then the whole description of what they liked about it and what they didn't and what they wanted changed completely disappear. But then the
My
rest of our
goodness.
conversation was still there. So I don't know if it had to do with the images. So, like if I'm scheduling somebody 6 weeks out, I'm not sitting and doing their drawing until closer to the appointment. So when I go back, I want to be able to see our conversation. So
Mm-hmm.
we always have everybody texting the shop. And then I'm going to be at the Mohegan Sun. Um,
Ooh.
yeah, so
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to be at that convention at Tommy's, the New England show. That is, I think what is that, the first weekend in April?
April, I think, yes.
Yeah.
April something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so I'll be there. Then I'll be in Baltimore at the Villain Arts show and a bunch of the other Villain Arts coming up over, in Cherry Hill, Wildwood,
Cool.
Asbury Park too, that show. So yeah,
And
so
I
I'll be
think
around.
Chris Nunez is going to be there. I
Oh,
think. I
okay.
think I saw like a picture of him on the New England Tattoo convention. I
Okay,
think.
cool.
Don't quote me on that, guys.
Yeah, I think he was there the last time too, but I didn't get a chance to go say hi. So I'll
Mm-hmm.
try and do that this time.
Ooh, I want to
Yeah.
go
You
and check.
should.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Uh, there you go, guys. You heard the phone number of what do you call this? Radiant Tattoo of what do you call this? Caroline.
Yeah.
So check it out, guys. And by the way, I have no more questions for you, Caroline. You did an
Okay.
amazing job with our
Thank
interview. Thank you for agreeing to do this chat with me. I know
you.
it's your
You're
day
welcome.
off. Thank you very much. And this is going on YouTube, guys. My first live interview on YouTube. The next one
Nice.
is with Jim Francis
Oh, cool. Very
this
nice.
Thursday. Yep.
Yeah. Very
Is
cool.
there anything else you want to say, Caroline?
Uh, oh, I'll also be doing my record keeping seminar at the Mohegan Sun. I because I had such an awful experience with my federal audits, I
Mm-hmm.
learned a lot and I compiled that into a seminar so nobody else has to deal with the anguish that I did for 3.5 years of my life.
Oh, that's the cool learning experience for for newbies or for people that wanted to learn that kind of stuff. Yep.
Yeah, yeah, like a lot of it even applies
Yes,
to any.
guys.
Yeah, it applies to all small business owners. Like a lot of people are not really taught how to do the proper record keeping for their
Mm-hmm.
taxes. So I
Very
figured it out.
important.
Yeah. So yeah.
Mm-hmm. And by the way, guys, that's it. We've been talking for like an hour now, huh?
Hmm.
For 1 hour. Oh my goodness. It was fun, like talking to you about the cast, talking to you about the judges and the production. Well, that's it, Caroline. Thank you very much.
Oh, you're
And
very
you'll
welcome.
see this on YouTube.
Yes. Yeah. Let me know.
Mm-hmm.
Keep me
Yep.
posted. Yeah.
Thank you. And guys, give hugs and love as we wave goodbye to Caroline Evans of Ink Masters Season 5, guys.
Thank you.
Bye, Caroline. Thank you
I'll
very
see you
much.
soon. Thank
See
you.
you.
Bye.
Bye. And this is going to be on YouTube, guys. My first live video. Please like, share, subscribe,